something just happened in the WNBA conversation that nobody saw coming. After the reported controversy involving Sophie Cunningham and Brittney Griner, the criticism started pouring in from every direction. Fans were arguing, clips were spreading, and social media had already started deciding who was right and who was wrong. But then Stephen A.Smith stepped into the conversation, and instead of simply joining the criticism against Sophie, he challenged the entire way people were looking at the situation. His reaction immediately changed the tone of the debate. Was Sophie Cunningham really the problem, or were people rushing to judgment before knowing the full context? And why did Stephen A. feel the need to defend her when the criticism was already reaching another level? Because once you look deeper into this controversy, there is much more going on than one heated basketball moment.
You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America, on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this. Fans in every sport. She described the fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena. In every arena. So, and then when you, clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The Merchant of Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out. For her.
The controversy surrounding Sophie Cunningham and Brittney Griner didn't take long to become a major talking point among WNBA fans as soon as the reported incident started circulating. Social media did what it always does when two recognizable players become involved in a heated situation. People immediately picked sides. Some fans believed Sophie Cunningham deserved to be criticized, while others argued that people were reacting too quickly without knowing every detail surrounding the situation. And that's where the story becomes much more complicated. Sophie Cunningham has never been the type of player who quietly disappears into the background. Whether you like her style or not, she brings emotion, physicality, and personality to the court. That has made her extremely popular with a large section of basketball fans, but it has also made her one of the easiest players to criticize whenever something controversial happens. As so, when this latest situation began circulating, many people didn't approach it with a completely neutral perspective. Some fans were already expecting the worst from Sophie. Others immediately rushed to defend her, and within a very short period of time, the actual basketball situation became secondary to the massive argument happening online. But then Stephen A.Smith entered the conversation, and that's when the story took another turn. Instead of simply repeating what everyone else was saying, Stephen A. questioned whether people were looking at the situation fairly. He essentially challenged the idea that one viral moment should be enough to determine the entire story, and that created a completely different conversation. Because now fans weren't just debating Sophie Cunningham anymore. They were debating whether the entire WNBA media environment had become too quick to judge players based on viral clips and emotional reactions. And once that question entered the conversation, there was no way this story was going to disappear quietly.
There's nothing wrong with the resentment that you may feel towards what she represents. It's actually good because it provokes a level of hostility, which elevates the competitive fervor, and y'all go out there and compete, and everybody gets paid. But unfortunately, you almost feel like you have some folks within the WNBA that wishes that would rather not be in a very fruitful position because of their resentment towards her. And they won't admit it, but I've been talking about it for months.
I gotta reply to this.
Yeah.
So I'm not just gonna let you sit here and talk trash about my man, Brittney Griner. Straight
Don't do
up.
that. Don't
No, I'm just letting you know right now.
Don't,
because my dude Brittney,
she's a young lady.
let me defend her for a second, please. There's people in there making noises, they're yelling, they're booing. In her defense, she's never seen fans before. Stephen A.Smith, they've never been at the games. They've never had fans. Now she has crowds, and she's wondering.
She was at Baylor before she came to the WNBA. You trying to tell me there wasn't fans at Baylor?
All those Baylor Bear basketball games.
I'm just saying that.
Maybe.
No.
15 years ago.
Women's basketball?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
In college.
College gets their love now. Come on now.
But not the WNBA. Not the WNBA.
Well, it's growing.
And the best thing that they've ever had in the WNBA is Caitlin Clark.
From a box office perspective.
And by the way, she ain't the first to do this. There's Diana Taurasi. There's Lisa Leslie. There's
Diana
Cheryl
Taurasi is
Swoops.
phenomenal.
Okay.
All of them.
Respect
Cheryl
to them.
Swoops, all of them.
All of them. But let's just call
Candace
a
Parker.
spade here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Smith has never been known for avoiding controversy. If anything, Controversy is exactly where he tends to become the loudest. So when he decided to address the Sophie Cunningham situation, many people expected another explosive sports debate. But what surprised fans was the direction of his argument. Instead of simply attacking Sophie or repeating the criticism already dominating social media, he questioned whether the public reaction was actually fair. And that distinction matters, because defending someone doesn't necessarily mean saying that person was perfect. It can also mean saying that people should understand the entire situation before making a final judgment. That's the point Stephen A. appeared to emphasize. And suddenly, fans were forced to consider something they may not have wanted to consider. What if the viral version of the story isn't the complete story? What if emotions are causing people to interpret the situation differently? And what if the reputation of the players involved is influencing the way fans are reacting? Those questions are especially important when you're talking about players as recognizable as Sophie Cunningham and Brittney Griner. Both players have strong personalities and passionate fan bases. That means almost anything involving them can become bigger than the actual moment itself. A small incident can become a headline. A headline can become a social media argument, and that argument can eventually turn into a major sports debate. Stephen A.'s reaction essentially pulled the conversation away from the emotional side and toward the question of fairness. And that's why his comments got so much attention, because people weren't expecting him to simply defend Sophie. They were expecting him to explain why he believed the situation needed another look, and whether you agree with him or not, that changed the conversation. Instead of asking only, "What did Sophie do?" fans were now asking a much bigger question. Are we judging every player by the same standard? And that question could have consequences far beyond this one controversy.
And just shoves her. And then got called for a foul. So Caitlin's just trying to, how exactly is a foul on Caitlin Clark? How exactly is that a foul on Caitlin Clark? Response is, we're younger class asked, let's not be crazy here. Freedom of movement rules, you can't block a cutter, which is what she tried to do. Again, exactly what she tried to do. It doesn't matter. If Brittney Griner walks into Caitlin Clark, yes, she bumped the cutter. That is a foul on Caitlin Clark. Brittney Griner shoved her. Brittney Griner saw that Caitlin Clark was in her way and shoved her. I'm sorry, Brittney Griner initiates the contact and follows through. I'm sorry, if Brittney Griner walks into Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark has her two hands up, yes, it's a foul on Caitlin Clark. It doesn't count. That's like saying, if I don't know, I see somebody that's doing something wrong, so I rugby tackle, in an illegal defensive position, so I rugby tackle them. Or I see I don't know. It's like being an offensive player and you're about to get hit by a moving screen. So instead of getting hit by a moving screen and drawing the foul, you decide to turn and shove the person setting the screen. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. Freedom of movement does not allow you to stop before contact and shove somebody. It is what it is, and I'm being real. This whistle is horrific.
There's another reason this story has become so explosive. Sophie Cunningham has become much more than just another player in the WNBA conversation. Her personality has made her a major talking point among basketball fans. Some supporters love her toughness. They love the emotion she brings to the game. They love that she doesn't seem afraid to play with an edge. But that same personality can also create criticism. When you're constantly playing with intensity, every physical moment receives more attention. Every argument becomes bigger. Every confrontation becomes a headline. And that's exactly what makes situations involving Sophie so easy to turn into social media firestorms. Point one side sees competitiveness. Another side sees unnecessary aggression. Point one fan sees toughness. Another sees a player who crossed a line. And both sides can look at the exact same moment and come away with completely different conclusions. That's why Stephen A. Smith's reaction was so interesting. He wasn't necessarily asking fans to agree with Sophie on everything. He was asking them to slow down. Look at the circumstances. Look at the bigger picture. And don't allow one emotional moment to completely define a player. That message clearly resonated with some fans, but it also frustrated others. And that's when the debate became even bigger. Because once Stephen A. entered the discussion, the controversy was no longer just a WNBA player dispute. It became part of the larger conversation about how women's basketball is covered. Are certain players criticized more heavily because they're more outspoken? Are viral moments receiving too much attention? Are fans becoming too quick to choose a villain? These questions don't have simple answers, but they're exactly the kind of questions that keep sports controversies alive. And Sophie Cunningham's growing popularity means that whenever her name becomes part of a headline, people are going to pay attention. That's the reality of becoming one of the most recognizable personalities in the league. The spotlight gets bigger, the support gets louder, but the criticism gets louder too. And right now, Sophie is standing directly in the middle of all three.
Okay. This is going in that direction.
It's going in the right
It's been 25 years where they haven't made a penny.
But
so now all of a sudden you want to be like, maybe this year.
It was growing before she arrived, and then it elevated to another level once she's arrived. And she's not going anywhere anytime soon. And, by the way, remember this name.
Okay.
Juju Watkins.
Okay.
Out of USC.
I've seen her. Freshman, great player.
Spectacular. She tore ACL. Tore ACL in the NCAA tournament last year. You know, she's special. And I'm just telling you, you're going to see the league continue.
Who wins this game? Ready? WNBA All-Star versus the best high school players ABC Nike game. High school Ben versus WNBA best players.
Here's my response to that. I think it would be the high school, but I would say this to you.
Because you're right.
Don't underestimate women and the growing support they're providing to the WNBA. Remember, anything successful, you usually have the women behind it supporting the product.
Don't underestimate the NBA subsidizing.
The NBA and the NFL went to another level once they appealed more to women. What if the women decide we gonna focus and lock in on the WNBA?
No, the NFL started growing once they implemented what's called cheerleaders. And people were like, oh, okay, we'll go to the game. Look at them. Look at them Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Come on, bro.
You lost credibility.
How did I lose credibility?
At this point, stop the podcast, Brent. Rob, let's just finish it up and go to...
I'm losing credibility. WNBA hasn't made one penny, but I'm losing credibility.
Let me put it I'll tell you one thing.
You're using credibility because of a bizarre statement about the NFL.
Let me tell you what I like. Let me tell you what I like. You know what I like? Here's what
Then came the reaction from fans, and this is where the controversy truly started to take off. Across social media, supporters and critics began arguing over Stephen A. Smith's position. Some people said he was right to challenge the narrative. They argued that fans shouldn't decide everything based on a short clip or a headline. Others believed the criticism against Sophie was justified and questioned why Stephen A. was giving her the benefit of the doubt. But here's the interesting part. The more people argued, the more attention the controversy received. That's how modern sports media works. A controversial moment gets posted, fans react. Someone responds to those reactions. A major sports personality comments. Then another wave of fans joins the discussion. And suddenly, something that might have lasted a few hours becomes a story that dominates the conversation for days. That's exactly what appears to be happening here. And there's another layer to this. WNBA fans are already extremely passionate about the league. The growing attention around women's basketball means players are receiving more scrutiny than ever. Every game has thousands of people watching. Every controversial play can be clipped and shared instantly. And every major personality has a huge audience ready to react. That can be good for the league. IT creates interest, IT creates discussion, IT brings new viewers into the sport. But there's also a downside. Players can become trapped inside narratives created by social media. One player becomes the villain, another becomes the victim, another becomes the hero, and once those labels become popular, it can be difficult for anything to change people's minds. That's why Stephen A.'s comments were significant. He wasn't simply talking about one player, he was challenging the way people consume sports controversies. And that's a conversation that extends far beyond Sophie Cunningham and Brittney Griner, because tomorrow, it could be another player, another game, another viral clip, and another situation where millions of people make a decision before they know the entire story. For now, though, the spotlight remains firmly on Sophie, and judging by the reaction, the conversation isn't slowing down anytime soon.
I don't care what's going on. I want to see animosity in sports.
Yes.
I don't care what's going on. I love the fact that right now, who's the guy in the heavyweight UFC that's pushing the buttons of John Jones saying, I'm officially the super heavyweight Aspinall. He's saying, I'm officially the super, because John Jones has retired.
But John
Jones has retired. John Jones has retired, right? I love animosity. The best fights were Cormier against John Jones. The best fights was Khabib against, Conor. You know, you want that, Mayweather used to fight what weekend? Cinco de Mayo. That was his way. Like, I'm going to take your ass out. So to me, I don't know. I just love the fact that there's animosity. You know what game I'm going to see the stat line on? You know what game? The next time Fever plays whatever
team she plays on.
No, only Reese. Yeah. Only Reese. Because animosity changes the game. For those of you that believe the future looks bright and you go to the gym and you want to sport the gear and be part of the community, that represents Future Looks Bright. Here's a new gear that came out, athletic wear of Future Looks Bright, with our models. And guess who's in it? Vinny, Rob, going to play the
Steven
clip.
don't give a shit about what I'm doing.
Those
Okay,
are
Vinny.
85-pound dumbbells.
Okay, Nati. A good camera work right
The
there.
second one right there is what your kids should have kept the video.
It's Natalia.
Oh, well.
Great personality on that girl. There she goes.
Sick. Gangsta.
Looks good.
Yeah, we remember her.
Yeah.
We remember her.
All right, go to reviewers.com. Place the
And now we reach the biggest question of all. What happens after the controversy fades? Because eventually, the social media arguments will slow down. The clips will stop appearing every few minutes. Fans will move on to the next WNBA headline. But the larger debate created by this situation may remain. Stephen A. Smith's reaction has forced people to think about something that sports fans often forget. A viral moment isn't always the entire story. A player can make a mistake without being a terrible person. A physical play can look completely different from another angle. And a controversial situation can have more context than a headline can explain. That doesn't mean accountability shouldn't exist. It means accountability should be based on facts and consistent standards. And that's really the heart of this debate. If one player is criticized for a certain type of behavior, should another player be treated differently for the same thing? If fans demand consequences in one situation, should they demand them in every similar situation? Those are uncomfortable questions, but they're important questions. And that's why this story has become much bigger than Sophie Cunningham. The reported controversy may have started the conversation, but Stephen A. Smith's response gave the conversation a completely different direction. Now fans aren't only arguing about what happened, they're arguing about fairness. They're arguing about media coverage. They're arguing about double standards. And they're arguing about how quickly the internet decides who is right and who is wrong, whether you agree with Stephen A. or not. One thing is undeniable, that he got people talking. And in sports media, getting people talking can turn a single moment into a massive story. So the question now is simple. Will this controversy finally disappear? Or is this just the beginning of another major WNBA firestorm? Because if the reaction so far is any indication, Sophie Cunningham, Brittney Griner, and Stephen A. Smith may not be finished dominating this conversation just yet.